I have a video of Michael Irving that was. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. Damn. Ow. That hurt. Damn. Fucking wind. Ow. Some mornings the coffee is just perfect, and this morning it is perfect, and I have to get another taste of it. Good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Bucky the Beaver and the damn funky chicken. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Let me say today, Tuesday, the 11th of November, it is Veterans Day. And to every single one of you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You all are the real heroes of this country. Without you, we wouldn't be a country. And to me, it's a shame that you only get one day to be recognized, because we need to be thankful and take care of our veterans every single day. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You guys need to be a priority, and I appreciate each and every one of you. That intro was what it felt like watching that game last night. It felt like I got hit upside the head in one of the most boring games that I've seen in recent history. Could you imagine if Dak Prescott was either of those quarterbacks in the first half that had less than 50 yards? There was not 100 yards of passing in that game in the first half. And Jordan Love is a liability for the Packers. The Packers defense, they did their job. You hold a team to 10 points, you're supposed to win. You're supposed to win. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're supposed to win. Yet they lost. And here's the reality that we have to face as Cowboy fans, as Giant fans, as Commander fans. We're not giving up hope. We still got a 4% chance of making the playoffs. I get you. You know, I'm not giving up hope. I want to see my team compete every week. But the reality is, right now, the Philadelphia Eagles are the number one seed with a 99% chance of making the playoffs. They're running away with the division. They've got no competition in the division. Washington literally went from the penthouse to the outhouse. The Giants just fired their coach, and we are a historically bad defense that is in the middle, and people don't want to admit it. We are in the middle of a 2-year rebuild. It started before. We are closer to a top 10 pick. Let's be real. We're closer to a top 10 pick than we are to the playoffs. And that is the reality of it. Doesn't mean you give up. You know, I hear people say, well, you should tank. Well, the tank is, the season is already what it is. What you want to do from here on out, and let's take let me go ahead and stick my thumb in my eye here, because this is what we're looking at right now. Sadly, the Eagles, with that win last night, their 5th win of being an underdog, they're doing it. You may hate them. You may not like them. You may be sick to death of listening to their fans, but you have to respect what they have built and what they are doing. It kills me to say that. They're the number one seed with a 99% chance of currently winning the division and making the playoffs, followed by Seattle with leading their division with a 94% chance of making the playoffs. followed by the Lions that have an 87% chance, followed by the Buccaneers leading their division with a 90% chance, with the Rams with a 98% chance, and even the Bears at 40%, and the Packers having a 70% chance. Here's the thing. The reality is, to make the playoffs, you're going to have to get past the Packers. And what we actually want to have happen here, because I've talked this over and over again a couple of times, is you end up having the NFC North have played very few division games. They all still are playing each other. Only one of them has 3 games against the rest of them. I think the Packers have 5 games left in the division. What you hope for is you should be aiming for the Packers playoff spot. You should be hoping that the Packers go downhill, because that's our draft pick. That is our draft pick. And where we are, the 49ers on the outside looking in right now with a 76 chance of making the playoffs at 6-4. The Panthers, who have a tiebreaker over you, have a 14% chance of staying ahead of you, of making the playoffs. And the Vikings, that currently at 4-5, a half a game ahead of you, have an 18% chance. And here we are sitting there with 4% chance. It's not good. Not real good at all. It's slim and none. But it may not be the worst thing, because here's the reality is, if we do by chance make the playoffs, okay, with that 4%, you have to look at it and say you would actually have, I think, a decent chance, because you got games against Kansas City, the Eagles, against the Lions, Minnesota. You know, you actually do. There is a way to get there, but basically you're going to have to win probably seven of the last 8 games to get to 10 wins. And even that won't guarantee you getting in there, because you look at it and you say, you got Seattle, the Rams, and 49ers in that division. They're going to get at least 1 wild card, probably 2. You got to look at it and say, the Lions, the Bears, and the Packers. The Bears hold the tiebreaker against you. And then, of course, our division is going to be a one-hit wonder. And then you look at the NFC South is going to be just the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But if we look at the the draft situation, well, you're sitting exactly where you were last year, 12. Our strength of schedule that's left is 480. We got the Raiders next. Now, here's what mystifies me. Now, teams that are ahead of us for the draft, we have the Rams because of them having the Atlanta Falcons pick. Lucky them. The Bengals, which, of course, are bad. Might get Joe Burrow back Thanksgiving. You got the Cardinals that are ahead of you, and you got Miami, and you got Washington. I don't know that you're going to that any of those teams are going to turn it around enough that you're going to be able to catch them to be a top 10. So I think this is about where we're going to be. But if Green Bay misses the playoffs, all of a sudden you've got a couple of picks that could be really, really good. Now, here's what mystifies me here, of course, by NFL.com. Their needs that they have for the Cowboys: edge, wide receiver, running back, safety, and cornerback. They're saying wide receiver is our number 2 need. I'd say that we have 2 really good wide receivers, one of which we do need to sign. I'm going to say, and then running back, did they not know that we have the worst defense in football? And they think wide receiver and running back? Don't we have a top 5 running back right now? Don't we have one of the best wide receiving duos in football? I think you need to move that safety cornerback up there with the edge and maybe kick those wide receivers and running backs. I dare say that I think we need a tackle more than we need a wide receiver and a running back. But that's just me. That's just me. What do I know? I'm a guy with a day job and a voodoo doll who's here on YouTube. But I'm going to say I am actually very, very sad on this Veterans Day. Something I've mentioned many, many times before about the amount of misinformation that's out there. Things that you see that look like they're legitimate that are not. Stories. I had a story that came across this morning that was, it sounded great. It was a story, and there's so many ones out here now about Marshawn Kneeland. And like I said, when you see something, first think that it's false or AI or made up before you believe it. Try and find collaborating information on it. And so this article, I can't remember if it was from Facebook or not, but I think it was. But it said the Dallas Cowboys had hired Marshawn Kneeland's father to be a counselor and a motivator for the Dallas Cowboys. And you start reading this whole thing, it's a lot. It sounds incredible. It's like, wow, okay. But it's not true. It's not true. And there's so many of these out there. Unfortunately, Marshawn Kneeland's father, it couldn't be, at least not right now. He's locked up. And so now that I'm saddened by the way the world has become, to be quite honest, because there used to be credibility in journalism, but because everything is now social media and the internet, you can make up stories and you profit from them. There's YouTube channels that are being taken down, at least because they've fabricated these horrific stories about murders and things like that didn't happen, that are sent out so they seem like they're real. And the thing with now Facebook, you get paid for clicks. There's nothing wrong with the TikTok videos and the Instagram models that want to show everything and all. That's one thing. But when you make up lies about real people that have nothing to do with it just to make money, there's something wrong with that. And it ends up being that you can be hurting people with your lies. In this day and age, nobody cares. They only care about how can I make money off of you. And that saddens me. For the Cowboys, yesterday was the first time that they had gotten together because of the bye week. Solomon Thomas, this is an article from Dallas Cowboys website. Everybody grieves the loss of loved ones a different way, and that's the truth. For Solomon Thomas and some of the Dallas Cowboys teammates, giving back to the community together was one of their ways to grieve the loss of the teammate, Marshawn Kneeland. On Monday, Osen Digizua, Donovan Easy, Perry Winfrey, James Houston, Peyton Turner, Jay Tola, Ernest Brown, Daniola, and Isaiah Land joined Thomas and his foundation, the defensive line, at MetroCrest Service, a nonprofit social service organization that specializes in helping individuals, families, seniors navigate through crisis situations and work on their stability of lives and future and for a brighter future. To pack food packages for homeless and for those in need, it came in the heels of an emotional first day back, but it didn't matter to Thomas and his teammates. I think the bye week, being away from each other, has always been hard. So I think coming into the building together meant a lot. And then also having this and the guys, I even told them, hey, I understand if you don't want to come. And all of them wanted to come. So in fact, they all wanted to come and just be around each other. I think that's all we wanted. We just wanted to be around each other because we're all hurting. We feel the absence, and we And so we just want to be there with our loved ones on each other. Earlier in the day, Dallas Cowboys held a team meeting, the first one in person following Neyland's tragic passing. It was led by Coach Brian Schottenheimer, team independent psychologist and director of team security. In the meeting that Thomas felt he and his players needed, the Schottenheimers gave them everything they needed and then some. Extremely impactful, extremely emotional, Thomas said of the meeting, extremely proud of Coach Brian Schottenheimer for how he conducted today. Just bringing the therapists in the building, bringing people who we need in the building, and just letting our true emotions be our true emotions. Giving us a safe place to let everyone know what's going on inside. I haven't been around a program that's done something like that before, and it's a testament to Schottenheimer and the love for us, because we need that today. We need a day just to be human and to cry and let everyone know how we felt. Extremely draining and hard day, hard for everybody involved, hard for everyone who loved Marshawn. So it just meant a lot for Schottenheimer to conduct a day like that. In the virtual team meeting held last week, immediately after the news of Neyland passing came out, several leaders like Dak Prescott spoke to the team. Thomas was one of them. I was just going to let the guys know that I loved them and that I'm here for them, and that whatever they're going through, there's people that can help them, and that their hope and that their light in the storm that they're going through. Thomas said of the message to the team, just letting them know that there are definitely things that Marshawn was going through and that we'll never know about. It's a tragedy, it's terrible, and our hearts are there for Catalina, for his family and all his loved ones. The way through this is just love each other and being together. There you go. There you go. There's a lot of raw emotions with the players and things. They're getting back to work to get ready for the Raiders and to finish off the season. Here's the way I'm looking at this season for the rest of the season. And let me say, I love football. I relate football to every single day of my life. I wake up thinking about football. I do a video every morning when I get up. You know, it's like I wake up next to my bride every morning, and it's like the sun rising for me. I love being there with my wife first thing in the morning, getting this cup of coffee, and then sitting down and talking about the Dallas Cowboys. 365 days a year. It's ingrained as part of my life, even in the off season. And so last night, you know, people can say what they want about my YouTube channel and things like that, that Mark is this and Mark is that. I have a community of people that we truly are a family. There's so many of you that I interact with, not just in comments in here, but even off of the channel between emails or text messages and things like that, that we are a group. I'm blessed to have that. That's one of the great things about the internet. And last night during the stream, Marcus Blackman, one of the great fans out there, he's at the hospital with his girlfriend, who's 30 years old, and he had said, I'm here at the hospital with my girlfriend, and she's got a blood clot in her brain. And, you know, everybody's sending him prayers and everything else, and she passed away. And I always end the days with, make sure you let the people you love know how you feel about them, and enjoy each day, and don't waste your time. I'm always busy because I feel like I have so much things to do before I leave away from here. I want to make sure that I make my mark and that I'll be remembered. I want to make sure that the loved ones that I have around me are taken care of to the best of my ability. And my heart goes out to Marcus Blackman and his family. And my heart goes out to so many of you because so many people are out there hurting. The way I look at the season, it's not the season that we wanted, but it may be what takes us to get to where we want to be. We have an opportunity to say, yes, this season is a wash. But what can we do starting now to fix it going forward? I look at this as saying, we got some pieces right now. We got George Pickens. You got to sign that guy. You got to sign him. Because you see the capabilities of the Cowboys with Dak, CD, and George Pickens, and Ferguson. Do we need to do some more work? Yeah. Great time to put Big Nate out there and find out in extended time, is Big Nate the answer for Terrence Steele? So we know that we can scratch that off before the draft. We got to sit here and we got to evaluate each and every position and say, should he stay or should he go? Can we scratch that off the list? Can we find out if Matt Everfuss is an idiot that the play on the field reflects his coaching ability, or is it that he needs the right players to win? And you've got 8 games to evaluate that. And you've got 8 games of getting yourself set up for next season. If by chance that 4% starts growing, that maybe you go out here and you beat the Raiders, and maybe you have, the Packers lose another game, or the Bears lose one, and some people start falling back to you. Hey, great. Maybe you go through, you beat the Eagles, and all of a sudden, you've got 5 wins and things start, hey, great. So don't look at this season as a loss. Look at this season as actually a blessing that you're here to be able to be a part of it. The question now is, and there's still no right answer. I was watching that game last night, and I'm not going to put the blame on Micah Parsons for them losing. Their defense collectively did their job. They did their job. You held the Eagles to 10 points. But I looked at that game and I was kind of like, I didn't see Micah Parsons playing the same way he did with my team. He had more players that around him that were playing great. But I look at that and I say, I don't know that Micah Parsons that was out there last night makes this defense that much better. Now we'll see going forward, now that we're beginning to use the money and the draft capital and everything else, how it works out for us so far. But in my heart right now, I'm okay with the move. Let's get some of the experts' take on it before we get out of here.
And let me ask you this one, Kurt Warner. If I had told you back in the summer when this deal with Micah Parsons was going down, right? If I had told you that Jerry Jones could trade Micah Parsons for Kenny Clark, Quinnen Williams, and a first-round draft choice, would you have made that trade? Because that's what's happening right now. Because he flipped. He was able to flip his one 2 years from now because he's got one from Green Bay in his back pocket, and he got Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark, and obviously he flipped another 2 to the Jets for Quinnen. But this is the end result right now here, as we know it, going into Week 10 of this season. They are 3-5-1, partially because Micah's not there to rush the passer. So what do you think now that we're here?
I mean, I think, if, a couple years from now, if we see what that number 1 pick does and who that is, you obviously got 2 really good players, in Clark and Williams. I mean, obviously they're good football players without a doubt. So you've upgraded the interior, your defensive line, but you've also lost, a guy that most of us feel is a generational type player. And so again, I think it's always hard for me to go, okay, it's a good move to let somebody go that is such a difference maker like Micah is. I remember when I was in Arizona and, played with Anquan Bolden. And There was always talk about, him leaving. And obviously the year after I retired, they sent him on his way to another place. And, it was always the talk about, well, he's not the most talented guy, doesn't run the fastest, all of these things. And all I thought every time I heard it was like, you guys don't get it. I mean, this guy is a great football player. He brings things to the table that I don't care if you get somebody faster or that fits your mold more. They will not be Anquan Bolden. They won't bring to the table what he does. But too many people miss that. Now, I'm not sure they miss that necessarily with Micah because you see it. But my point being is that these guys that are great football players change the complexion of everything for your football team. How you play, what you believe. When the game's on the line, you've got a guy that you can go to in those situations and will make that play, will be that difference maker for you. And so those guys I don't think can ever be overvalued. But I think a lot of teams do. They think they're overvalued because whatever, we can get two guys, we can get a first-round pick. But what they do is special and different. And I just, to me, I don't know if you ever win. And again, we can see what that first-round pick is they get in a couple years. But, Clark and Williams are good players. They're not Micah Parsons. And so, to me, you don't win unless you find a way to replace that difference-making piece that Micah Parsons brings to the table, even though they had a lot of other issues. That difference-making piece is what this game is all about. At the end of the day, there's a lot of parity in this league. What separates the great teams from everybody else are having enough of those kind of players that in the moment make the play that are difference-making plays, and that's what it's all about. And so it's hard. I'm hard-pressed to think that the Dallas has won this trade, this trade battle that they've been on by letting Micah Parsons walk out the door.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end.
So this just came through like literally 3 minutes ago because I was looking – because last night I felt like I'm trying to give Micah Parsons a pass on it because there are so many plays where I'm just seeing Micah Parsons just hands extended, just holding up the lineman. And I just say go back and look at it. I actually recorded a video watching play after play after play where it seemed like Micah Parsons was taking some plays up. We're used to seeing Micah Parsons, running and sprinting to go past guys. And maybe this was the defense that was being called. I don't know. But all I know was so many times I just saw Micah Parsons there holding up. That could be a sign of injury or saying the play's not coming anywhere near me. I can take it off and save it for later. I don't know. But this is Randy Gurzy that just came out here just a few minutes ago. This offseason was full of drama for the Dallas Cowboys who were unable to come to terms on a long-term contract extension with Micah Parsons. Not everyone agrees. Let's see. The arena. Boss Ward. Okay, here actually I can bring the clip. Let me bring the clip over.
The Cowboys want to trade Micah, as talented as he is, he a distraction. He got too much going off the field.
Was I a distraction for our team?
Nah, you ain't have a podcast running. You ain't going into the studio talking about what need to be done, how we doing this.
That's the new age of it, though.
That's not what you need to win.
If we played in 2025 opposed to 2015, maybe I would have been doing that.
Yeah, maybe. Micah, you need a bully, man. You need a bully. He ain't moving. He getting around. He athletic. He look good. He don't want you coming right at him.
He does not.
He want to chase down. No. Yeah, I'm going to run down from the backside, but hit him right in the nose. He can't take that.
You're saying you take Quentin over Micah if you're starting a defense?
Yes, sir. Yeah. You start in the middle, man. Build that wall. Next, we set an edge. I want a big baby. I want an Albert Haynesworth.
I feel like the Parsons get the Deion Sanders treatment.
Well, I don't know about wanting the Albert Haynesworth one. Maybe the Albert Haynesworth that was still with Tennessee before he came to the Commanders. But there's going to be a difference of opinion, and only time will tell how this works out. Cowboys Nation, I know we're hurting. We're hurting watching the Eagles seemingly making every move that's great while we're mired in mediocrity. It just is what it is. But still, I'll take this day over a dirt nap. I got to get out of here, good people. I appreciate you all. And again, veterans, thank each and every single one of you. And hey, make sure you see a veteran out there or you know a veteran, you give them a call. You say thank you. Buy them a cup of coffee. Put some gas in his tank. Say thank you because they gave up so much for you. I got to get out of here.
I can't stand it anymore. I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Stewardess, please let me handle this.
I've got to get
Calm down. Now get back to your seat. I'll take care of this. Calm down. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Doctor, you're one on the phone. Everything's going to be all right. Please.
Sister, please, I'll handle this.
I've got to get out of